Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's King Neptune's Adventure, brought to us by Color Dreams. Color Dreams, of course, very infamous for creating some of the worst games the NES got to see. Thankfully, King Neptune's Adventure isn't nearly as bad as some of their worst titles. In the game, you're taking the role of King Neptune. You have two moves at your disposal, basically a bomb that you can throw out that bounces around and you can detonate, which is very useful, the bubble bomb, and then you also have your lightning bolt that you're firing out in order to deal damage to enemies. In the game, you need to collect treasures while making your way through the various areas, including a maze to start off the game. Thankfully, unlike a lot of NES mazes, this one isn't too terrible. There's a lot of instant death potential in the game. You do have a health bar located in the upper right corner by the various water droplets, and you can get plenty of more health throughout the course of the game from certain enemy drops. But there are enemies like these eels that pop out of the ground here that will instantly take you out. Any enemy similar to this, what you'll want to do is either try to take it out if you can, the bombs are very useful for this, or just wait for it to retract and then go past, but you have a very small gap to do so without losing a life yourself. In this first maze area, our goal is to collect these keys in order to enter into the boss chamber. The path I'm taking is just one of the more direct paths to get a lot of the keys. You can choose whichever order you want to grab them all, but you must gather all the keys in order to enter into that chamber. After going to the left side, dealing with those enemies, we're now going to head up the right side. There's the door that we're going to need to come back to in just a few moments once we gather the rest of the keys. The very useful bubble bomb weapon, you don't have an unlimited amount, you can pick up more, so just use them on key enemies like these ones that will instantly defeat you, or of course, boss encounters. Be very careful in the very tight corridor as you're making your way through this area, picking up the next key. Thankfully, the electricity bolts that you fire out can bounce off the walls and attack enemies that way. It alternates the direction it goes. You'll fire once against the wall, it'll bounce one way and then go the opposite way the next one you fire out. So you kind of have to keep firing until you get enough going in the right direction to take out stuff like the crab enemies in these small corridors. There are plenty of secrets and the like, treasures to keep an eye out for that you don't have to collect, such as the giant dollar bill that I found hidden in the one hallway. I'll showcase a few of those throughout the course of the game, but they're just for some bonus points. We have one last key that we need to pick up here, down in this little area. Watch out for this crab enemy. Grab this, and then if you haven't defeated those enemies in the previous room, the eels, just be sure you don't accidentally run right into one. And they can hit you a pretty good distance, like the hit space that they give you is not much at all. They have to be completely retracted for you to sneak by. If they're popping up at all, more likely they're going to hit you. Now for this boss, our goal is to bounce one of these bombs throughout here, and then when we do, get it to explode right where the boss is. You throw it out with one button and press the opposite button, which is normally your electricity, in order to activate the bubble bomb at the right spot so you can take out the boss. You may have to fire out a few in order to get it to bounce the right way, but once you get one over there, if you time it right, it only takes one to take out the boss. Be very careful of the small enemies popping out here, just like the eels. They can take you out instantly, and sneak by to grab the item. Now, as we leave here and head back, I'm going to stop by the first castle again and grab the crown. I just forgot to grab it when I was first in here. You can get it right away when the game begins. This window that's blocked by kind of seaweed, the green here, float in front of it for a bit, and you'll get the crown item. You must have that crown to pick up the sword item that we're going to be getting next. The whole next area is a long corridor with a lot of enemies coming our way. Keep moving, firing, you'll kind of get used to the patterns and the enemies the more and more that you play. The essential enemies are the little green guys. If you defeat one of them, they will drop a health pickup. So destroy as many of them as you can to pick up those extra health pickups. Thankfully, just like a lot of the other Color Dreams games, you can actually gain more health in your health bar if you're able to gather enough of it. There's thankfully some groupings of these green enemies so you can replenish some of your health while going through, and the bombs can be useful if you have some extras to take out a few enemies at once. As the enemies kind of sporadically fly around the ocean, you can get them to run into those explosions from the bombs and take them out that way. Once you finally reached all the way over to the other side of the screen, you'll see the sword. As long as you've picked up that crown from the first room of the game, you'll be able to pick up the sword, and now you need to head back to that little open door near the very beginning of this area, which will take us to the sunken ship portion of the game. Thankfully, going back won't be as tough as we've dealt with some of the enemies. You can destroy any of the ones that drop some health and pick up that, or just keep on firing. There's no real easy way through this. A lot of times I'll hang near the bottom, but other times I found it safe to be in the middle, since the enemies are kind of sporadic with their movement. It's a little bit of a crapshoot. Eventually, when you make it all the way over to the far left, you'll notice an opening that will pop up. That's where we're going to be needing to go, and where the sunken ship is located. Now, as soon as we start here, these enemies are going to attack us. Use your bombs to take out the sharks. Don't go through the opening here. Instead, keep going over to the left to the second set of sharks and use the bombs to destroy this set. Destroying these sharks, it may take you a couple of the bombs or firing out your projectile. You'll be able to open up this area. This is a little tricky. Use your bombs and kind of slowly move them around, bouncing around the area to destroy these guys waiting for you. If you run into them, it's instant death, so what you need to slowly do is just keep timing it to bounce them around. It'll take 2 bombs each. But as long as you go slow and take your time, it's really not going to be too much trouble, just a little bit boring. Thankfully, once you've defeated the enemy, they don't respawn. Grab the item on the left side of the room and then go back the way you came and exit out. Once you're back out of the room, head over to the right and go through the other opening that we first actually opened up, and now this is where you'll find the next boss room. Use your bombs to throw out the skeleton that bounces around. The bombs really get him stuck, so a really easy, simple boss, and as soon as the boss is defeated, pick up the item and quickly move out of the room. Right after that, you're going to get attacked again. This is one of the princesses that's been kind of changed, or dolphins that have been changed into another kind of creature, it seems like. Destroy that creature with the bombs. It bounces just kind of sporadically around the room. And once you've destroyed it with enough bombs, you'll be able to get rid of that wall and go over to the right side. Now we have kind of another big open area. This is similar to the one that we dealt with just a little bit ago. You have tougher enemies to deal with, so use your bombs wisely throughout in order to try to take out as many of these annoying enemies, and be sure to take out with just the lightning bolt the regular little green guy so you can pick up extra health pickups. It'll take a while, but eventually you will come to another opening. Head inside there, you'll have a room with 2 floating red enemies, take them both out, then go inside of the chamber. Now once in here, kind of float around the windows. I'm not sure if it just timed or whatever, but after floating around for a little bit, you'll see an item appear. Be sure to pick it up and then go through the other door located here, which is a very annoying volcano. There's flames coming out. This lava will instantly destroy you. You just kind of have to make your way slowly around while watching out for falling flaming rocks, as well as the lava that shoots out. Be sure to go up here where there's 3 skulls are located, fire there, and you'll end up finding the flame item, another one of the key treasures that we need to grab. Up here with this fire cage, don't run into it, it'll instantly take you out, so use your bombs and destroy it. Basically, you need to fire out a bomb and immediately activate it in order to destroy it, and you're going to do the same right located over here. Don't run into the cage, fire out one of the bombs and immediately destroy it. This way you can talk to the dolphin here, but either way, you've saved the dolphin and we can continue on in this area. Take out this enemy if you want, you get a free little piece of health. And then carefully watch out for the last piece of lava firing out at you and one more falling rock before the door. Now out here, there's an enemy that's floating around pretty quickly like those other ones we've dealt with. Just use your bombs in the right spots. It'll probably take a couple, and you'll destroy it. Once it's destroyed, go inside the palace or chamber down below. Here you have some very annoying eels moving back and forth. Just have to quickly move your way through them at the right times. You can see some have shorter distances to go than others depending upon what directions they are. Make your way around and grab the item and then make your way back slowly. We are near the end of the game here, right from where we are after exiting out of that palace area. Go over to the right. If you fire at the top of the statue on the right side there, you can get another one of those giant dollars, but you kind of get pulled down below into this chamber. Here with this boss, very easy. Just fire out a couple of bombs, it'll instantly destroy it. Once in the palace, it's kind of a maze again. We're going to go to the very far right door. We're going to end up on the bottom. And then you want to go to the second blue door. So the second door from the right, or the third one from the left, whichever way you want to look at it. Deal with the enemies. You have the dolphin here, and then head over to the right side a bit. You'll have to swim a little ways, but eventually you'll come to another floating item. Be sure to pick it up, and then go inside this chamber for the final boss. Immediately use your bombs to take out the annoying fish enemies that are flying really quickly around. Then hang near the bottom here, and what you want to do is you'll have your projectiles from your bubble bombs bounce off of the walls and go towards him. If you time it right, if you're at the right spot, you can get him to go upwards and bounce right near his eyes, just be in that right spot. The thing is though, once you hit him enough times, he kind of breaks open and attacks you with some fast moving enemies, so you want to be very careful and have other bombs ready for when that takes place, as he can still take you out that way. With the final enemies, fire out those last bombs, whatever ones you need, take them out, and then go through the door on the opposite end. Then, in the next room, grab the Orb of Goodness and enjoy the ending, the King Neptune's Adventure on the NES. So, yep, there you have it. King Neptune found the Orb of Goodness, and all became right again. What a beautiful ending. In fact, it's at least something better than some other Color Dreams games as far as their endings were concerned. But with that, it's going to wrap up this episode of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.